The Trump haters on the sham January 6 House committee lived up to the reputation of being unfair and unbalanced. They went in trying to prove Trump guilty of something, anything, but not to fact find. Just another partisan exercise that will likely lead nowhere. But what if Biden's DOJ does something? What if they take the bait? What if indictments do come down? Well, join me now, attorney for Donald Trump and senior advisor of MAGA Inc., Alina Habba. Alina, thank you for joining us. But so we're all talking about how there are no teeth, there are no legal teeth to whatever the Jan 6 morons decided to recommend, obstruction and conspiracy. However, what happens if the DOJ does go ahead and drop some indictments? What's the process there?
Well, there has to be an investigation. A lot of people think, and there's some confusion on this, that the recommendations that came from Congress means that the Department of Justice will take their recommendations into hand and act on them immediately. That's not really the way it works. The process is a lengthy one. And as we know, the Department of Justice has been looking into this for some time. I think what would happen if they ended up indicting a former president is it would become, I think that would be the saddest day for our country, to be honest. I think anybody with any knowledge of the real facts of what went down that day know that there was a peaceful meeting with a tremendous amount of people. There were people that did act out of line. Those people are in jail. People that breached laws, violated laws, went into the Capitol. They're in jail. People that got harmed are being held accountable. Frankly, they're not being tried fast enough. So if there's going to be an indictment of a former president, I think that's a very frightening thing for our country, for somebody who just said to go out peacefully and patriotically.
Peacefully and patriotically. Alina, let's talk about this now. I'm not sure if you brought it up last time, but one of the Trump attorneys, it may have been Lindsey, who said, look, you know, this sham trial, this sham group, it came up with trumped up charges, so to speak, of obstruction and conspiracy. But the people who are going to jail right now for what they did at the Capitol are going to jail for things like breaking windows, for maybe possessing firearms unlicensed, mischievous types of things. Yet somehow these charges get slammed and jacked up and steroided up when they're going after Trump. Are you concerned that the DOJ may have the same veracity going after the guy?
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head, Eric. I think that's the exact problem. Trump has been under what he calls political and legal witch hunts since the day he announced he was going to run for office in 2015. Never mind what happened when he got into office and Russia hoax and so on and so forth. I could list them for days. But the truth is that it's political. And I always say this, and I can't say it enough. The country is sick and tired of seeing, honestly, I think the country's sick and tired of politics, to be honest. And I think they just want us to have a country that is, you can disagree, but you can agree. You don't have to make the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA weaponized against somebody because he's your biggest political threat and he's leading in the polls. That is an unnecessary and un-American way to operate. So I'm very concerned. Look at who they picked as a special prosecutor.
You know, and I'm even more, I'm disgusted by, Alina. I'm disgusted by the fact that they're going to release Trump's tax returns. Look, they gathered them, they got them. They told us he didn't do anything wrong. He may not like the way he used the tax code legally, but why release him then? Why release him? This is a violation of the man's privacy. I'm blown away. Folks, if you're not pissed, you may not even like Trump. You got to be pissed off about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's as making me as angry, because now I think what they've done is something that they haven't thought through as usual. The Democratic Party didn't think through this all the way. So now you forced Trump to give the tax returns, release them. Great. Guess what we're going to do now? We want to see Hunters. I want to see Joes, and I want to see the income stream from China. I want to see what was about the Hunter Biden laptop, because now what they've done, they don't realize the same way they treated Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama differently with their records and the Presidential Records Act. Well, when you do that, you create a new standard of law that can be applied towards the current and future presidents, whether they're Democratic or Republican. So they're not thinking this through. President Trump had a tremendous amount of accountants and teams that worked on his tax returns. He's got nothing to hide. And if anything, he's a very intelligent man that used the IRS and their code to the fullest extent, which I'm sure, he was well within his rights to do, as any American is.
I love it. I love it. I love it, Alina. I love it because you're right. Let's see hunters. Let's see Big Joe. See the big guys and what 10% will represent. And let's get that. Remember, follow the money, folks. And January 3rd, next week, maybe we start following the money. Alina, great having you on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Eric.